Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the Chicago hitman that was apparently in jail, talking to a confidential source, saying Lil Durk paid him for a hit. Now, you don't have to crash to get cash. There's an app called Free Cash in which all you have to do is play video games on your phone. Videos. So go ahead and hit that link in the description and get that free cash. Now this is Pacer, right? The official site you go on for federal paperwork. This, I'm going to clarify though for the confusion out there. This isn't Durk's case. This is the United States of America versus Preston Powell, aka Marley. This is Marley, this handsome young guy from Chicago, and Marley is charged with the murder of Stephon Mack, right? So I'm assuming Stephon Mack is here, and these two guys are firing out of a vehicle. Clearly, this skinny dude isn't this one, so this has to be Bigum's over here. And yeah, you know, this is how he takes his pictures. You see him on Tinder. He's like, yeah, you know, ladies, I'm single. This is how he looks. This is Marley right here. So Marley is charged with his participation in this killing, right? And Elmer Fudd over here is AJ. This would be AJ. Now, we're going to get into AJ, but let's jump into the paperwork real quick, right? The introduction. The government previously moved for use of the entirety of co-defendant Anthony Montgomery Wilson's recorded statements against defendant Preston Powell. Now, Anthony is AJ, Powell is Marley, right? And we're just going to get right into it. By way of this submission, the government proposes that the court allow for the admission of 3 limited excerpts. So they're introducing these 3 things, speaking on this murder, right? And up here it would say, the excerpts simply show that Montgomery Wilson's motivation for killing Mack was to collect a cash bounty that had been put out for Mack's murder by individual A and his associates with OTF. Individual A is obviously Lil Durk. Now the first excerpt would state, in this excerpt, AJ explained to the confidential source that the bounty for killing Youngin, which was Mack's nickname, was 70 grand, and that AJ tried to get the amount increased to 90. AJ, next thing you know, that's a dub. Reminds me, we was having a conversation, shorty. Ken told me like, shit, he a 70 ball right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna try to get him to go to a 90. We trying to get 90 out of him for this shit. Confidential source. For a motherfucker, AJ for Youngin. Excerpt 2. In this excerpt, AJ explained to the confidential source that although individual A, aka Durk, contributed $50,000 to the bounty for killing Mack, AJ only collected a portion of those funds. AJ, look, Jam, this what Jam told Didi. I mean, he told Bondo, like, Bug, he say, man, Durk gave up 50, shorty. He only paid me a dub, so it's 30 missing. Remind you, I'm locked up. So he's saying Durk gave 50, but he only got paid 20, and 30,000 is missing. And in this excerpt, AJ would explain to the confidential source that he received approximately $40,000 for killing Mack. Confidential source, so altogether you got 35? AJ, 35,000 and then another 5 from JD and them, which they supposed to give me 100, shorty. They really owe me 100,000. These 3 limited excerpts exclusively concern AJ's admissions to the confidential source that he killed Mack to collect a payment that had been offered by Durk and his associates for the murder. The statements were clearly against AJ's interests and are independently corroborated by other evidence. These 3 limited excerpts are highly probative of the 4 higher components of Mack's murder, and their admission would not be unfairly prejudicial to Powell, right? Now, Powell is basically arguing against what AJ said because, you know, AJ is obviously making it look like, hey, you know, we did this because they paid us to do this. That's why we did it. The 3 limited excerpts from AJ's recorded statements to the confidential source provide critical context for those text messages. Now, this is the text. Powell, what's up with OTF? AJ, nothing. Powell, what you mean? They not paying? AJ, we waiting. He comes up here on the 17th. Powell, aight. Now, on February 17th, 2022, Durk was in Chicago conducting a podcast interview, which AJ attended. That day, Powell texted AJ, stand on that while you with Durk them. The following day, Powell texted AJ, did Durk give you that money? This is very important. It's stating that Durk was in Chicago to do a podcast interview. And AJ, who had already killed Mac, showed up. And Marley's telling him, make sure you stand on that. Tell Durk we need that money, right? So AJ shows up and is supposed to ask Durk for this money, for this killing. And it just so happens the podcast is $1 million worth of game. Now, the paperwork states the interview was conducted on February 22nd. And this interview would drop March 10th, 2022, giving time for editing or whatever else. But this wasn't the only thing recorded that day. Durk's music video, Aha, was also recorded that day in the same studio space. And the interview along with Durk's new song, Aha, would drop on the same day, February 22nd. Now, the funny thing about this, right, is he brought $1 million cash to $1 million worth of game.
Okay, just to revert a little bit regarding Marley discussing the payment for the alleged hit that they did anything before discussing it via text that somehow all those messages, the communication would be tracked. So as to why he actually discussed that, I'm not even sure. I don't know. Again, another example of these people self-snitching. And another aspect of this thing I wanted to just speak on is the short paying allegedly by Durk towards them. He paid them, I don't know, about 30 or 35. He does an interview, he does a music video where he's holding $1 million in cash. Which means he had the money to pay them, he never paid them. So for these people, these stupid people that are doing these hits, why not ensure or plan or make a way that ensures that you get paid in full for the crime you're about to commit? Because that crime, most of the time, the truth comes out, you go into prison, you're going to get sentenced, or you can try to commit the crime and it doesn't go as planned. Maybe you get shot, you end up getting killed. So before you do such a stupid thing, try and ensure that you get the cash in full. But the best thing is to even avoid doing or engaging in such stupid behavior.
And apparently in the background of this video is not only the leader of Mike City, the gang, but AJ, who's a member of Mike City. Now, within the federal paperwork, they would show a picture from the Aha music video and a man's face would be blurred out. And then obviously Reddit's gonna do what Reddit's gonna do, but this is supposedly the leader of Mike City. And AJ can be seen in the background of the music video. Stephon Max Killer AJ from Mike City was at Lil Durk's Aha music video shoot. The same video that he dropped less than a month after Stephon died, and he was claiming he got back for D-Thang and got someone's folks hit. So again, this whole murder took place because Stephon Mac allegedly had something to do with D-Thang's brother getting killed outside of a club. And then the music video would drop, people would stop putting the pieces together, but the feds haven't indicted Durk for this murder. These two guys have been indicted. And these two guys are apparently throwing Durk's name around, or at least AJ is, and the feds looked at everything. So Durk did a podcast interview. AJ was in attendance. While AJ's in attendance, Marley's telling him to press Durk about the fucking money they're owed, while there's $1 million sitting on the table in front of him. But again, the most important thing to take away from this situation is this doesn't have shit to do with Durk's case. I see the blogs talking about it all over the place, and a lot of people are thinking that this is going to bury Durk deeper or have an effect on him. Durk is not indicted on this murder. Durk has nothing to do with this fucking case. This is just them saying, oh, Durk was supposed to pay us. Marley saying, go press Durk. At no point in time does it say he said anything to Durk. At all. At no point in time does anybody say Durk actually exchanged any fucking money. They're naming everybody else. That's the thing. They're trying to tie Durk into all of these situations, but nobody is actually saying Durk did this, Durk did that, and there's no proof of it actually even happening. So keep that in mind when you hear these things. But as far as these two guys go, there seems to be a ton of evidence against them regarding this murder. They're trying to say the intent was because they were getting paid. Apparently, they didn't get paid the full amount. So keep that in mind. All you young ones out there that want to go out here and catch hats, this and that.
Yeah, just to revert again regarding Molly, just from the picture they showed at the beginning of this video, Molly looked like he's a little bit slow. And with the person that was present at the interview that Lil Durk did, seeing the million on the table, if they were serious about getting the cash, once they established that the cash is there present with Durk, why didn't they make a way or make a plan to take that money? Because now there's a case on them, they need that money. Their freedom's at stake, their lives are at stake. So if you're serious about getting money, instead of pressing the issue, why not make a plan to get that cash? Those are just things I don't understand.
Dudes is allegedly saying they got 70 on their head, 100 on their head. None of these people are getting paid. What was the situation with Young Dolph? He had however much on his head, and they allegedly got paid like $500. You better off just getting a regular job. You don't have to crash to get cash. You can download the free Cash app. It's just, people talk good. Things sound good. But if you think 100,000 is just gonna land on your lap, and then this dude's in jail trying to figure out how he's gonna get his money. Who are you gonna talk to? You can't get on the jail phone and call anybody. So instead, he's venting to his cellmate, who just so happens to be a confidential source. And he's feeding all that information back.
And there's another thing, you can speak to your cellmates, and even if they're not confidential sources already working for the feds, the states, the police, most of the people in prison are snitches. So know that whatever you say to anybody in prison, most likely it's going to be taken back to the prison wardens, the prisoners. Everyone will know about it. So whatever you do, whatever you're involved in, don't go into prison and be discussing your case and the things that you've done. Because no, people in prison, they're snitches. They can't keep quiet. They'll repeat what you say. They'll repeat it to the prisoners. They'll repeat it to the police, the wardens, etc.
To the feds. Oh, so you got 30 or 35? No, I ended up getting this, and then this one threw a little bit on top of that. And he's probably exaggerating still because he doesn't want to look stupid to dude that's in the cell with him. You know, they're going to throw a little bit of extra, you know, just to make it sound like they didn't get played, when in all actuality, they went and caught a body and didn't get shit out of it. But hey, let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.